Hey, how's it going, everyone? Sitting low, just hanging out, coming at you guys with another video. And if you guys have been following along, in the last video we had just met our new project that we picked up. It's a 1996 Chevrolet C1500 Silverado Stepside, and we're going to go ahead and do an LS swap in it. So in the last video we had gotten done removing the factory V6 motor mounts, and we replaced those with the new V8 motor mounts, or the new V8 clamshells as some people like to call them. And that ended up being a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, because there's other videos on YouTube, people saying that you gotta pretty much pull the lower control arm and the suspension off the front of the truck in order to gain access to some of the bolts, and that ended up just not being true at all. You just gotta think a little bit and work smarter, not harder. And I was able to get both of the motor mounts removed in less than an hour, and the new motor mounts in less than 20 minutes, so it wasn't too bad at all. So yeah, we got that out of the way. So I guess the next step would be to go ahead and remove the whole electrical harness and the factory PCM out of this truck, because we are not going to need a whole lot of that anymore, because you know, obviously the new 5.3 that's going in, it has its own PCM that controls it. So stick around for that, you guys, because I might need your help. Alright, so what I got going on now is I'm working on pulling out this factory 4.3 harness, pulling out the 4.3 PCM, and just all the stuff that went with the V6 motor, because we're not going to need a whole lot of that anymore. We are going to need to retain some of this harness though, because we're going to have to integrate it with our new 5.3 harness, so you don't want to butcher it up as you're pulling it out, so try to get it out as nice as you can without cutting it. And yeah. Okay, so I got the factory V6 harness removed, and I first started by pulling the computer out, followed next by the fuse box, which was achieved by removing three 10mm bolts that were accessible under the wheel well of the passenger driver's side of the truck. T27 Torx bit to get that plug out. And as I was peeling stuff out that was still plugged in, I was labeling and numbering, just because when I bought the truck, the motor had already been pulled, so all these connectors and stuff, I have no idea what they're for. So the ones that were still plugged in, I was labeling them as to what they were, because like I said, a lot of this stuff isn't even going to be used, but some of it is still going to be used. So I wanted to just take a couple moments to mark and tape everything, label everything, because, you know, it never hurts. But yeah, factory harness was removed, and like I said, it was pretty straightforward. The hardest part for me, honestly, was getting this firewall plug, because I had to undo this wheel well here, because I don't have one of those flexible nut drivers, which that would definitely be the key to success to getting this one here. But what I had to do is I had to undo this 2 bolts underneath this wheel well and kind of jam a wedge under there to push it down a little bit, so I could get my 1/4-inch ratchet and a 7mm socket on that 7mm that's tucked back there. This one was easy to get. But other than that, I undid the master cylinder as well and shoved it forward just a little bit to snake the whole harness up through there, just like the dude on LT1 Swap does. That guy's a genius, by the way. And if you guys haven't looked at his channel yet, go to lt1swap.com and go to his YouTube channel. He basically has a whole video series on repinning harnesses, and he even did a couple of short videos on these OBS trucks. So a lot of knowledge to be gained by just going to that dude's channel, and especially his website. His website has pinouts for pretty much anything. So big shout out to, I think his name is Brendan, I'm not 100% sure, Brendan from LT1 Swap. Without him, I don't know if I would be even attempting to do this right now, so big ups to him for sure. But yeah, factory harness is out, and got the motor mounts in, so pretty much all I got to do now is continue stripping the harness off of this guy here, and then we're ready to stuff that thing in there, so stick around for that. Alright, so what I've got going on now is I'm pretty much removing all the plugs and just trying to strip this harness off. But while I'm doing that, I'm going along as I'm unplugging the sensors. I'm labeling them and numbering them, giving them a designation, and that way, you know, I don't mess up and forget where things go. I mean, it's probably unnecessary again, but you know, it's never a bad idea to label things. That way you know exactly where it came from, you know which plug goes into what, because, you know, part of doing the standalone wiring swap is you got to simplify this harness. So that means you're going to be peeling the loom off and everything, and you know, just because this harness is all configured in a way to where it'll pretty much go to where it should go, once you start peeling all the loom off and cutting tape back, you know, it can get really easily to get mixed up, and you don't, last thing you want to do is get your, you know, your injector firing order messed up, or just anything like that, start getting shit crossed around. So that'll just give you nothing but headaches in the long run. So just take a couple of minutes, label, number, whatever you got to do, and it'll just make your life easier in the long run, you know what I mean? So I'm in the process of stripping the harness off this motor, and I pretty much got 99% of it done. The only thing I got left is these 2 plugs here that go to this park neutral safety switch. Now these things are actually glued in from the factory, so if you were to try to just undo this tab and yank on it, you would very likely just end up breaking this. So what a lot of people do is they'll end up just undoing the whole thing and just removing it as one. Some people snip the wires, or you could also use a heat gun and heat up the glue that's inside there and get them out that way. I, however, do not have a heat gun here, but I do have a hair dryer, so I'm gonna desperately try using a hair dryer, and if it works, cool. But if not, then, you know, can't say that I didn't try. So if the hair dryer works, you will see this footage, and if the hair dryer doesn't work, you will not. Alright, so I got the harness completely stripped off the motor, which didn't take me very long to do at all, and the hardest part about that was in order to get the plug behind the crankshaft position sensor, I had to remove the starter, which was only 2 bolts, so that wasn't bad at all. And you guys seen the transmission range selector plugs that I had to use the hair dryer to heat up, but other than that, removing the harness was actually quite simple. Also got the harness completely removed from the truck for the old factory 4.3 stuff. Got the motor mounts in, and I also removed the air conditioning compressor because doing more research I was able to determine that this pump in its lower mounted location will not work in that truck setup like that. So I figured might as well remove it beforehand instead of, you know, trying to stuff the motor in and then finding out later that it ain't gonna fit. So anyway, so pretty productive day. And I think that's going to be it for this one. As you can see, it's pretty dark out now, and I am starving, so I'm going to go inside, get cleaned up, and make myself some dinner, and then we will see you guys in the next one. So thanks for watching.